Right now, 42% of all American workers have zero retirement savings. This isn't a minor shortfall, it is a total lack of a financial safety net for nearly half the workforce. The data shows these workers aren't simply overspending. They are freelancers, gig workers, and contractors who have never had access to an employer-sponsored plan. The American retirement system was built around the 401k, designed decades ago specifically for full-time corporate employees with dedicated HR departments. The primary engine for American wealth creation requires a traditional corporate job. For millions of workers today, that version of the economy is no longer a reality. Consider the Uber driver navigating city traffic for 50 hours a week. Add in the freelance web designer, the independent contractor, and the nurse working 3 separate part-time shifts instead of one centralized job. Because they do not have a single large employer, they are completely locked out of standard employer-sponsored retirement frameworks. That leaves 57 million working Americans out in the cold. They have no government-backed, frictionless way to start compounding their wealth. Nearly a third of the American workforce needs a completely different architecture to save, one that does not care who signs their paycheck. A recent executive order aims to patch that gap by creating TrumpIRA.gov, a platform scheduled to launch on January 1, 2027. The site acts as a centralized government-vetted marketplace. Any independent worker can log on, compare private sector IRA options, and open an account directly. The draw is the incentive attached to it. Workers earning under roughly $35,500 a year qualify for something called the Savers Match. This table breaks down the exact math. If a qualifying worker contributes their own money, the federal government matches it by 50% and deposits up to $1,000 directly into that account every single year. If a 35-year-old gig worker contributes $2,000, they get that $1,000 match. Invested in an S&P 500 index fund at an average 7% return, that $3,000 grows to about $22,000 by retirement age. Keep repeating that annually and the numbers scale quickly. This policy brings the exact mechanics of corporate wealth building to people who piece their income together from different sources. Yet, if you look at the text of the executive order, it did not actually allocate a single new federal dollar for this matching program. The money comes from Capitol Hill. Congress created the Savers Match back in December 2022 when they passed the Secure 2.0 Act. That specific federal subsidy was entirely pre-existing legislation. It was always legally scheduled to kick in exactly in 2027. The White House has built a highly visible user interface and an accelerated enrollment funnel, wrapping an existing congressional policy in a new grant just ahead of an election year. There are strict limits to how far this patch reaches. For single tax filers, the federal match phases out entirely above $35,500, which means middle-income freelancers get the website, but not the cash subsidy. More critically, using the platform is voluntary. Modern corporate HR departments succeed because they automatically enroll employees on day one. Here, the worker has to actively choose to navigate the site. This pie chart highlights a severe bottleneck. Since the policy was passed in 2022, surveys show only 14% of eligible workers even know this federal matching benefit exists. A frictionless user experience only works if you can get people to the login page. Convincing millions of completely disengaged savers to show up is an entirely different hurdle. The philosophy here is that ownership alters a person's financial outlook. Holding even a small asset gives a worker a concrete reason to track the market and think about the long term. The $1,000 match provides a specific incentive for a person with zero savings to overcome the friction of opening their first account. When January 2027 arrives, it will trigger an enormous behavioral experiment directed at 57 million uninvested citizens. Ultimately, the success of the platform will be determined by the raw number of Americans who actually log in and use it.
This is Market Truths. Clear analysis of markets, technology, and power.